right, ladies and gentlemen, Comrade Geza has finished, and as we expected, that he is going to be probably expressing some enthusiasm, expressing some joyfulness, expressing some excitement, expressing some, heartwarming expressions, because of of the developments that took place between now and the last time that Comrade Geza spoke. And a reminder for those who are just joining us, thank you again for joining me, Hulu at Pachiso Life, as well as Hot Seat Empire, as we are going to be making an analysis in the current, or let me say, the latest, again, in the speeches of Comrade Blessed Bombshell Geza. Comrade Geza spoke and acknowledged the fact that President Edi Mnangagwa did state, that Pasi Nezigananda, and he's saying that during the War of Liberation, as that slogan was so important, and it actually means that now we tatova pamtongo wekugumisisa. So what it means is the JOC, that is the Joint Operational Command of Zimbabwe, as well as the Zimbabwe Anti-Corruption Commission, now have a duty to arrest the Ziganandas. And as he spoke like that, it is important also to note the fact that President Edi Mnangagwa, when he said Pasine Zigananda, the next very day, he was seen in the company of Wiknu Chivayo at at the house of Sydney Gata, who himself can be classified also as a Chigananda for those who know him in the Nikaland province. Those who lost their land through Sydney Gata, taking over dozens of lands from people, and promising that he was going to be setting up a solar power station. And until this very day, and this, by the way, happened more than 6 years ago. More than 6 years ago, he took over that land, and that land lies fallow. No development, nothing took place. And those farmers were given now derelict land, which is very far from everything, and with the soils which are not fatal and things like that. So Comrade Gesa spoke that these Ziganandas, they smile in the public but plunder in the private. The Ziganandas are a cancer to the nation of Zimbabwe, and he reiterated that they serve only themselves. Even though they show some concern, they serve only themselves. He says he wants to thank the VP Chiwenga, as well as the Army General Valerius Randa, together with the Muchangwas, and especially the Monica Muchangwa, Minister Monica Muchangwa, for coming to the side of the war veterans and of the people. And he urges President Edi Mnangagwa to do the same. After speaking and saying Pasinesi Gananda is saying it is time for the president to join others to reflect on why they fought in the liberation struggle. These were the words, short ones today, of Comrade Bombshell Gaza. What is your take when it comes to these? Ladies and gentlemen, may the hope we have, us and our children, and our children's children, let it be the same hope they have all others, and their children, and their children's children, those whose homes we will never know, and those whose nations we will never visit. For the hope of a Zimbabwean child must be universal, because this is about our people. This is about our nation. And this is yet another day and another hour we meet to deliberate on these issues. 9 minutes to 9 in Harare. Also there at 9 minutes to 9 in the city of Bulawayo. Please let us begin the discussion. Welcome to the space, Ometa. Ometa, you have had
Yes,
Bombshell
yes,
Gaza.
yes.
Please go
Thank
ahead.
you, Hulu. Oh, yes. I think it's just a gentle reminder with a bit of firmness. Uh, it's good. Repetition is the father of learning. Chigananda, chigananda, chigananda. Pasinacho. ndozvataurwa navageza izvi. Kochitiwo zvake pamwe ane soft spot naMonica naChris, but those are flip floppers, bipolar politicians. ED haasi kuvaita favorite yavo, they are there but havanyatsodye pavanoda, saka vanopota vachigumbuka. Saka izvezvi vakatoona kuti tatakataimira kupinda muofisi kuti tipinde mupresidium, paakutopinzwa chigananda ichitsotsiri rine mari inopfuura isusu. Vaakudzoka kumaovetrans avanga vakaneglecta. Well, iculture yavo ndokamitiro kwavo, kune mari kwaunopiwa mafavors ndokwavanowandira, but Geza ane soft spot navo iyoyo ndeyavo vari two. Saka Wicknell makamuona ariko. President vakataura vakati pasi nezvigananda musuno apa. MaZimbabweans tese tiri panapa, I think tine 5 senses. We can tell when somebody is being sarcastic. That's what the president does. Mucharangarara kuchinzi takuvakirai mamochari anotonhorera. Munhu angori sarcastic, hakusi kuti it didn't carry anything. It's just, they laugh behind closed doors. Mazondinzwa ekikiki voseka zvavo vapedza. Havanowirirana naye Wicknell, ndiye sawira wavo. Gata aitwa national hero, handisi kuziva kuti on what basis. Hapana chaakambotitira itsotsi zvarira renguba rakanyarara. Hapana kana project yaakambotitira during his term. Magetsi problems after problems. Well, I guess Heroes Acre is no longer dignified. Chango chinzvimbo chekuti mabhururu anongotenda unorara ikoko. He does not deserve to be there. Maybe provincial or something, or state assisted or something, not kumkanda paya taipati ndepechiremera panoenda vanhu vane chekuita nekugara kwakanaka kwevanhu muZimbabwe, kwete kungoti nekuti uri bhururu wangu waindisotera madhiri chienda kuHeroes Acre. Anyway, aenda. So ndo patiri for now, Hulu.
Yeah, Ometa. So let's move with the other speakers. Welcome to the space once again, Hot Seat Empire. Do you have any comments so far before I go to Flora Ramai? Just again asking Flora Ramai in terms of the savagery of, Sydney Gata, people whose lands were taken, and that land is not being used for anything, and but he had the power to take it away from the people, and now he has been declared a national hero. Is he a national hero, or rather a friend relative to the president? That is something that I want to find out from you. What is your take? Do you think a president's friend should be made a national hero when they die? All right, we are going to be talking about that. Hot seat. Any comments?
Well, on Geza's address, I don't know. I'm just a little bit disappointed. I feel like he kind of said nothing of substance in it, to be honest. You're thanking for what? What are you actually thanking for? Statements that actually don't really mean anything in the grand scheme of things, right? So I'm kind of like, I really want to hear how people perceive that, because for me, I just felt like he could have just gone without even having broadcasted today. And in terms of Sydney Gata, I feel like I want to understand how somebody's decided to be a national hero. What are the requirements? Who sits down? Is it Jock who sits down and decides this person should be a national hero? Is the whole body corrupt? Or, who makes the decision? I think that's very important to understand the processes that go into deciding a national hero, a provincial hero, and stuff. Because I refuse to think that only one person can make that kind of a decision. And if it was a lot of people, what criteria did they use? I think if somebody knows, can they just help us and educate us a little bit? It will help us understand why they made that decision. Thank you very much, Hulu.
Right, thank you, Hot Seat. I think that is very powerful coming from you, Hot Seat Emperor. But what I can tell you, though, is that in our country, Zimbabwe, at this particular moment, it does look like the president makes the call when it comes to the issue of who becomes a national hero. Right, but anyway, let's move. Flora Ramai. So Sydney Gata, a man who caused pain and suffering in Manicaland in Middle Sabi Estate, where dozens upon dozens of farmers who had been resettled and were growing crops on fertile lands were removed without notice and thrown away into derelict lands, which is sandy next to the Sabi River, and where they cannot be able to produce crops anymore. And he never bothered to develop that land because he promised that there will be a solar panels planted on those lands. It didn't happen. The man is gone now. What do you think in terms of the president, you know, and those who make decisions on declaring individual national heroes, and of course, Comrade Geza's submission today, Flora?
Okay, good evening again, guys. In terms, I don't really have that understanding in terms of Sydney's private life. But if those land were taken and they're still with Zessa holding, if they were bought for Zessa or evicted in order to make way for Zessa, then they're still owned by the state. If it was for personal gain, then that's corruption. I don't know the black and white between those two. However, if nothing has happened to those land, then they should go back to the original people because it's over 10 years. If the land is just standing still and no farming is taking place, then they should be given back because we're still waiting for the Gwanda and that hasn't happened. And obviously, when we're talking about decentralization of electricity, you don't really need to have big lands. You can use people's roof, you can use schools, you can use, work buildings in order to generate electricity. However, fundamentally, solar is not the only big thing because it actually interferes with our wildlife, with our birds, with a lot of things. So it's not exactly the best thing on planet Earth. But we need to look at other sources of electricity that we can actually get electricity from. Should we be looking at nuclear electricity between Zimbabwe, Mozambique, and Malawi and Zambia in order to generate electricity? All those things are things that can be arranged if we have the thought process to do so. But the land that was taken, if it's not in use, it has to be given back. I have seen people doing 1 megawatt within their own land, and if it was taken for for his own personal gain, there should be an inquiry about it. But personally, maybe there was a reason when it was done. I wasn't there, but I'll just say if it was for personal gain, then it's corruption. Thank you.
Yeah. It is indeed corruption, Flora Romai, and that land was taken away more than 6 years ago, and up until now, nothing was done on that land. It's just lying fallow, and it was just mentioned that that land belonged to, I mean, is Sidney Gata is going to be investing on that land by putting a solar power station there. Something that I never heard of being announced anywhere in Zimbabwe, by the way. Remember, with Weak Notifier solar power project in Gwanda, we were all informed about it, even though it remained comatose and never worked. But we were aware of the fact that he had a project in Gwanda. This one just happened under the table, hash hash, and nothing really was ever said, I mean, to the public. But that's the reality, and he has been declared a national hero. So, well, Brother Best, welcome to the space before I go to Baba Juju and Boss Solani. Right. You, Brother Best, you have had now, Comrade Geza, kind of having hope in his words, smiling and thanking the VP Chiwenga. Hot seat thinks that is hollow because perhaps he didn't need to speak. Do you think Comrade Geza needed to speak today? Best?
Yes. First of all, I'll say like host my brother Holu, co-host, host it. Greetings, coming from me best. Speakers and listeners, yes, greetings. Uh, First of all, it's fine. I know Bosalanis is always like that. I want to look at to for other speakers and listeners who come after me to look at to understand what is Shigananda. I put it in Grok, right? I'll just read it. It's just a short one. Chinonzigananda ndabvunza pagroko. Shigananda is a Shona term from Zimbabwe, referring to political connected elites accused of gaining wealth through corrupt government contracts. It highlights figures like Kudakwashe Tagire and Yukinut Chivayo, linked to ZANPF, who are criticized by for flaunting riches amid widespread poverty. The term reflects systematic issues since independence in 1980, with historical examples like Samsoni Paweni. However, some defenders, these individuals. Yeah, so this was Grok. Right. Then now we look now then now we know what Shigananda is. So if we know what Shigananda is now, the term is there now. I don't want to go into Google, what do you call like Google and stuff like that. But now people know what Shigananda is now. So does anyone in ZANPF or in opposition party support Shigananda? Anyone who come here and defend Shigananda personally, because the president wenyika wakati pasina Shigananda futhi. Saka iwe ukada kuya uchiyapona uchisapota Shigananda iwe pasinewe futhi uchika pasinewe unofa wakadaro urombe. So these are facts of life. Shigananda is it's not a good thing to do. Anyway, you go in China, Shigananda, they hang them. In China. If you're accused of corruption in China, they'll kill you.
So
If
best,
you're accused,
best. I mean, when the president spoke and said that Pastor Gananda, and then the next day he appeared at the house of Sydney Gata together with Weekly Shifayo, and then declared Sydney Gata a national hero. I mean, is the president just making a joke? Is the slogan becoming empty? I mean, do you think, because Comrade Geza also spoke a lot about the slogan was real to their hearts, to their minds? Do you think the president is making a joke out of the slogans that people are using today, both within ZANU PF and the government? Is it just a mere joke? What do you think?
yes, that's a good point there for injection for like what I say like honorable like stuff like that. Yeah, fair enough. The president himself also is subject to scrutiny. You know, we have to look at this. The president himself, is he fit for purpose? Remember, when you get old, your mental capacity, will lose like what do you call like a plus or a minus. That different of a plus and minus there. It becomes a bit like what do you call like
Is it that word that Borsalani always uses, senile?
Yeah, something like that, something like that. Because when you get old, I used to work, I used to work with the mental health people. uh, when you get old, there's what you call like vanasekuru vachitaura vana vazukuru ngano, but vasekuru vanokangana ngano dzedza vataura zukuru vakataura nezoro vanodzokeredza futi nhasi, but asikaziva zvakamira kunzwa idzi nyowani ngano. In that's how I put it in simplicity.
All right, Beth,
So
prepare to land in 60
yeah,
seconds.
yeah,
So I
yeah,
move to
yeah,
the
yeah,
next speaker.
yeah, yeah,
Baba
yeah, yeah.
Juju.
I'll end in 30 seconds. Yeah, so I don't want to have a problem to talk to dwell much on the president of Zimbabwe, but I know he's getting old. The more you get old, the more you lose it. So as Gananda, I've given you the definition of it. So in simplicity, passing Gananda. Who comes here to defend Gananga? Passing I. Thank you.
All right, hot seat. So let's run with the speakers. Fast and furious. We have got Baba Juju. Then we are going
Yes,
to go to Bo Solane. Then we are going to go to Justice Mahoney. And then we go. We pick the others. Mdara is here, and Tatenda as well, together with Ometa. So hot seat. Baba Juju, Bo Solane, and Justice Mahoney in that order. What is your take, ladies and gentlemen, for those who are just listening to us now? And with the latest speech, Hotshit thinks that maybe it was not even necessary for him to speak today because there was really nothing that he said. What is your take when it comes to that, Hotshit?
Thank you very much, Hulu. Baba Juju, are you there?
yes, yes, I'm ready to contribute.
Hello, Baba Juju.
Yes, 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 yes. Hello,
Hulu, can you hear him?
Yes,
hello.
I can hear you, Hotshit, and I can hear Baba Juju as well. And Baba Juju, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you, host. I can hear you fluently.
All right,
But
you could also hear.
since the co-host cannot hear him, can you drop down and come back?
You
No,
want
did she say? Did the co-host say she cannot hear Baba Juju? I mean, let me find out. Hot seat, can you not hear Baba Juju?
Sorry, I can't. It's okay. Let me drop down and then I'll come back.
All right, no problem.
Exactly.
Baba Juju, go ahead.
Right. Thank you, host. Boselani mudarondizingwe kudhara unyari.
Adropwa mani wenda unochengeta mai Juju.
Right. First of all, the issue that bothers me in Sydney Gata is as a national unit. Let me explain. First of all, there are some people, especially Comrade Chings, who we can vouch for. Takaona ma videos avo, we know them. Aitoimba, aishaura muhondo and stuff, and was never declared a national hero. Never. However, from Norway on Wednesday, Gata of all people, Arkunovigwa Pachikomba. Why? Let me explain, right? The president, yes, the president has all the power according to the National Hero Act. He has all the power to to determine kuti munhu national hero based on certain criteria like profile yemunhu wacho kuti akabatsire muzimbabwe. Yes, it is prerogative, anokwanisa kudaro. Is the president has got the power, but not Gata. Gata has been connected. Firstly, he was married to Mugabe's sister. Secondly, paakaramba Mugabe's sister in 2022 akabva aroro those pretty girls. I won't do much on that because Zorovesa, because there are some rumors that Mukuro, okay, Zorovesa, we know what I'm saying. So he's connected. In fact, during he was once fired from Ziesa in terms of because of corruption, incompetence, etc. And how can you celebrate the current electrical situation in Zimbabwe? How can you celebrate that? Kuti munhu akaita zvinodadisa is in deserves the highest honor of being buried among heroes who fought for the country. So first of all, the move yekuita Gata a national hero, it's an embarrassment. Iye kwandiri abva aovertaka vamwe vanhu vasingadeserve kuvigwa pachikomo, please. And I know that in future we won't be able to correct that mistake because it's expensive to move him, but he's not a national hero. He never was, he never will be. He's just a family friend or a bam nini, bam kuru, whatever, according to the rumors in the streets, but he doesn't deserve that honor. There are more people, and in fact, to rub it, to rub salt on the wound. He was a teacher. He was a lecturer in London during the the liberation struggle. Vamwe vanhu vachisacrifica vachienda pawofront kunorwira freedom aiticha. After that was connected vapinda muziyesa all along vachidywa mari vachitasei, and it's now we are now celebrating that. Okay, enough on that. Second of all, about Geza. Unfortunately, ndazonzwa address yake later, but it seems that he was addressing Uganda. First of all, the statement by the president, it can be viewed in two ways. Number one, in terms of as jest, tinonzwa kuti mukuru anombonakirwa musoro wambuya vako sasvanga chichi kunakirwa, because if you notice something, wiki neuchivhayo a day or two earlier he'd posted in jest again actually when he was flying to Tanzania achiti chigananda mari mafly something using that time that thing on social media achitanga ari kuti bohwa newedre kuti chigananda anditi. Then funny thing, 2 days later the president himself passed in his Gananda. So the first take is that vari kutisekerera. Then the second view andira kutorawo kwatiri isusu is that maybe the message Dr. Chiwenga, maybe it's resonating. Maybe the president now realizes the effects of the Ganandas, although because takazovaona vari vese futi kumariro, so pari tricky. So in conclusion, I'm just saying that politics in Zimbabwe kusotesanawo, sotesana chete. I thank you.
Thank you very much for that.
Yeah, Baba Gigi, it becomes very funny. Yeah, for sure. Sorry, hot seat. I'm just saying it really becomes very funny. Hot seat. What do you think? But anyway, I think you were running the speakers there because it's Baba Juju. Then we said it's Borsalane, and then we say Justice Mahoney in that order. Hot seat. I hope you are settled now. Can you hear us now
Yes, I
properly?
can. Sorry about that, Hulu.
That's fine, no problem. Go ahead, hot seat. So it's Borsalane and Justice.
All right, thank you. Bosalani, can you take the mic, please?
Hallelujah, praise the Lord. Ndisati ndatanga ko temptation aenda kupi? Because panango pindo pepe yabva ati kwewa vane kupi ubva disappear. I would love for her to come back so we can have our one-to-one session. Please, hosts and co-hosts, mumuchagewo. This is the welfare yake ari boere because pamwe ndatomuvhiringidza. So, going on to the discussion. Thank you so much, host, for opening up the space. Can I also kindly ask for people to repost, especially Vaningorima speakers? I don't understand how you come on a platform and you're given the opportunity and you don't even repost the space. Like, what are you shy about? Are you embarrassed about your submissions? Don't you want people to know what you actually think or what you actually say? Nema ghost accounting you. I don't know what's going on there. So please, let's repost the space. Now, this is the first thing I want to start with. It's quite interesting. Kutigeza obviously has always been about the movement, and people have been saying movement, yeah, Geza's movement, revolution. They've been switching the titles, whatever it is. And then all of a sudden we have Chamisa coming through and saying Kutindruda kuvura movement. Now here is the thing, if you listen to his interview, yeah, Chamisa, and to those who are saying Kuti, Chamisa pinda papi apa, ato pinda, itori politics, dotom pinza chet. Yeah, it's because this and that. And ndotompinza ende nyarara, it's not your time to speak. Mute your bloody mic. He said on Miss Red's platform, Kuti, he was basically comparing movement of the liberation movement, his struggle, to a situation yokuti ndeyekubatanidza vanhu. How is that different funezviri kuitwa naGeza? And the funny thing is that when Geza tried his movement, Shamisa is the one akavhara zvese. Because akabuda nestatement akati, I'm not involved in this. Handisi kushanda nemunhu uyu. Obviously, angatori nema-intentions okuita yake movement. That's why panga pasina kubatana, kana kuti panga pane kuda kuti iwe ndezvekwako, inini ndichamhanya nechinhu ichi because inini ndinotoda
kutowana mari from it. We don't know. We have to start asking ourselves those questions. And if that's the case, I'll definitely support Geza. Ndoti manya ne movement yako shamari, manya comrade Geza ne movement yako, because at the end of the day, yeah, a variety is the spice of life. I would love to see kuti uyu anachamisa vari kuuya nechi vachiti movement yavo, uyu Geza ane yake movement, ana chakuti chakuti vachauyawo nemovement yavo, toonawo kuti ndeipi option yamuchafarira imi mazimbo, because remember there were people who supported Geza's movement because they said kuti Chamisa is quiet, and now it would be interesting to see kuti tuvanhu tuka tuma-sellouts here, because tinongomhanya kwese kwese wherever the wind is blowing, they just run on it. I'd love to see that. So I'm betting on it, and thank you Geza for your kutaura kwawaita. Of course I've always said kuti zvauri kutaurawo
Bosolani,
inini
can I
I
correct
don't
you?
support it. Yes, sorry.
Bosolani, sorry, don't lose your train of thought. But you remember all the time I say, be the same hope other people must have. That has to do with equity and equality. The Bosolani Wakuti Tuvanui too, meaning fellow Zimbabweans. I feel very humiliated by such a statement because
Iwe
who
best.
is well
anoderera.
respected.
Iwe
Yeah,
best,
Bosala
if
And
you
anoderera.
want to
we,
speak when
for
I'm
us,
speaking, I will
uh-huh.
notify people of the fact that my degree yako wakanyorerwa na Dr. Matsanga. Don't try me, nigga. Do not try me.
Iwe.
Do not try
Unyorwa
me.
degree nani nani
All
degree unyorwa
right,
nani?
best, please.
Degree unyorwa
Okay.
nani?
All right, best. Okay. Right. So, Bosolani, I'm saying that.
No no. Bosalani
Okay,
basata.
best. Wait. We want her to finish her submission. I'm just saying that Bosolani. Let us make sure that we speak about Zimbabweans with respect, because, uh, I mean, we are all Zimbabweans, and we need to speak to them with respect. So let us not call them Zivanu easy, kind of something like that.
I'm not withdrawing my statement. I won't do that.
No, you have to.
Pavanoti
You have to. You have to.
Mazimba
Otherwise,
vapanoti ndiri hure. Why don't you come through?
Right.
You
mudzikise
cannot
pasi.
you cannot
Anoderera.
Submit.
be
I think
selective when
best
it
don't do
comes to
that.
my
Best don't
submission.
do that.
When they call me a bitch and a hure, where are you with this statement you're putting through? Nah, you're not gonna do that. Do
Yeah,
not
you can
belittle my
continue
submission.
with your submission, Bosolani. Continue with your submission. That's fine. I was just mentioning to you
Iwe mai vako
that
vanonzi hure unodi kuvaudza kuti don't do that. Nah,
yeah,
tuvanhu
I will
utu.
tell them not to do
You
that.
Kutoti
my
Please.
sister,
tuvanhu utu is
you,
much
you,
better than
you,
kunzi
Baba
you.
hure
Gigi, just a
shamari.
moment.
Did,
Just a
did, did, did
moment.
your father pay
You
me? Did
you
I get
you
paid to have you? Come on now.
you must let me know when people say that about you, and I am going to
You've
tell them
seen
not
it.
to do
You've
that.
seen it and you've heard it. You've seen it and you've heard it.
Yeah, but remind me when that happens, and I'm going to remind those people that
No,
don't do
I'm not
that to
changing
other
my
fellow
stance
human beings.
to no support and nonsense. I'm talking about, listen, let me specify. When I say to notice that I made it clear that is those people who don't have a side, like they go everywhere, wherever the wind blows, they're not loyal. So if I'm gonna call them Tuvanu, allow me, because I haven't called every single Zimbabwean that. If you have stood for ZANU and you've stayed for ZANU, you're not Tuvanutu. Tuvanutu
So
ndana
so if
best.
somebody if
If
somebody is
someone
going to
is
call
just
you,
left, right,
if
left,
somebody is gonna
right, left,
listen
right,
Bosalani,
yeah.
if somebody is gonna call you Chimunu Ichi, are you gonna like it?
I'm already called a whore. So if you call me Chumunuche, haven't you have already tarnished me enough? What's the problem? What's the
Yeah, but
problem?
I'm saying anybody that calls you a whore, I mean,
I'm called a
you
whore
must let me
already, and
know.
I've already said kutindiri hure saka uchaita say. So what are you trying to say? You are even
Yeah,
diverting from the
but
conversation,
show
Hulu.
me those people
No,
who have said
I'm not
that to
gonna
you.
change
Show me.
my statement, and I
No,
made
I'm
it
just
clear.
saying, show
The
She's lying.
people,
She's a
the
liar.
people who do
You are
not
lying.
stand, if we're
me those.
best, you know what? You know
Don't
what?
do that. I'm
You,
having a
Hulu, you're
conversation
actually
with Bosolani.
disrespecting me
Best
already
mute
because
your
Best
mic.
is just coming through
Mm.
as he likes, and
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
just
I'm
coming
telling
through
him not to
as he
do that.
likes.
Best, don't do that. Don't do that. Best. Okay. So Bosolani, I think we are done with that. Please continue with your submission.
Like I said, the people I refer to as Tuvanuch are the people who don't have anything that they lean on. They change. Geza comes through, they run with him. Chamisa comes through, they run with him. Anyone else comes through, they're there. Those are the people I refer to as Tuvanutu because I don't respect someone like that. And nothing you can say here on the space or anywhere else will make me start respecting individuals. I've always been standing on my purpose. Everything I've said, I've always been consistent. So those are the people I'm saying to Anut. If you know you're ZANU-PF, you're not included in this. If you know you've always supported Chamisa, even though he's incompetent, you're not included in this. If you know you've supported other political parties, you're not included in this. It's not that hard to understand. But as I'm gonna land, I'll definitely say this. There is a lot. There's nothing that Chamisa is bringing that is new. It's finished. The moment the UK started coming to Zimbabwe and engaging with the Zimbabwe government, that it was lost. The time he took a sabbatical, you don't go on a break, even though he said he never left politics, but he was not there. He was not there championing what you wanted him to champion. He came through and he said that SADC is bringing fresh elections. That's incompetence on the highest level.
And
You didn't contest the elections, and then you want to tell people
Baba
that
Juju,
you're
Baba
going to
Juju,
contest. Do
Baba
not,
Juju.
do not stop me.
Right, okay.
What
Okay,
he
Boss
did,
Solani, sorry, just a
hold on,
moment.
Hulu. No, I've been interjected more than
Yes,
enough.
I
Allow me
just
to
want
land.
to tell them that guys, please don't do that. We want to hear the submission of the speaker so we can move to the other speaker. So Baba Juju, with due respect and best, please let us avoid that. Boss Solani, go ahead and then we'll move according to Hot Seat as program.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, all right.
Absolutely. When you see a situation, because we're talking about the broadcast here, and blessed Geza, but we can't run away from the political atmosphere in our country. That's why I'm bringing this issue. Even if you want to come through and say, oh, Chamisa is not the topic. If we talk about Geza, who's a political figure, we're talking about every political party or every political individual. The problem we have and the problem that Geza caused was that, or maybe Zimbabweans, what happened, you did not go into the streets when Geza said there's a problem, enter the streets. You didn't. In fact, you acted like business is as usual. So even if president or anyone says Jigananga, or even Ari Uyu, Anunzaniko, Anotara Ndiri Chigananga, he's saying it because that's the popular term that you use. And then you want to say, oh, yeah, they're laughing at us. Of course, they're laughing at you. Because at the end of the day, what Geza brought through when he said enter the streets and you stayed home, when he said stay at home and you went into the streets, you portrayed the image yokuti mutori born the system and kuchema kwamunoita kungochema kunoita vana vanenge vachida kungoyamwiswa chete, not a situation yekuti muri kuenda through the total abuse yekuti social services inofana kuuya yotobvisa vana to protect him. That's the message that was sent through that. So even if Chamisa starts anything new right now, it's not going to stop the fact that the UK is having business deals nechi Zimbabwe. It's not going to stop the fact yekuti the rest of the world has moved on, because this is the problem with Zimbabweans. You think kuti the world is going to freeze, and Chamisa thinks that the world is going to freeze and wait for a whole year or 2 years or 5 years for him to then wake up and then say, oh, there's Zimbabwe, let's concentrate. No. There are bigger things happening in the world. And if you don't recognize that, and if you don't support a leader who understands the geopolitics of it all, hapana kwa Murugenda, Chamisa is going to make more money from this thing. Geza is definitely getting something also from this. He could actually get readmitted into ZANU. Nekutongoramba achimhanyisa chunhu chake chekuti hey, my citizen. You never know. But bottom line, ndeyekuti maZimbabweans munofarira kuitiswa. So as far as I'm concerned, rambai muchiitiswa vanofarira kuitiswa, because it was written kuti muchaitiswa, and there's nothing that's going to change. When we come to 2028, ZANU-PF icharamba iripo, not because ndinoifarira, but because muri so incompetent, because you follow leaders that don't lead you to the promised land.
Right.
thank you very much, Solani, for that. Yes, Hulu, do you have something to say?
What shit, sorry. I know you're going to be calling Justice Mahoney, Comrade Mahoney, to speak now. And I want to say, when he speaks, I want to ask him a direct question. Comrade Justice Mahoney, do you think the president is playing games with the nation when he says, Pasi Nezigananda? And yet the next very day, he's walking around with Weak Chivayo, and Wiki is showing off his tail up and Taguere is addressing a ZANU-PF rally for the very first time. And these are individuals who have openly said they are proud to be Ugandans. I'm asking you, Comrade Justice Mahoney, is the president simply joking with the country when he says Pasi Nejigananda? And what impact will that have to all the other slogans and the resolutions of the ruling parties on OPF, in your opinion? Please go ahead.
Thank you, Comrade Hulu. Yeah, I don't think he's playing games as a president. He's just echoing the sentiments of his colleague, the vice president, which is right. Just like saying personal corruption or any other thing that is a social vice. That's what he did. I don't think he's playing with anyone. So that's my position on that. Then the issue of Wikino Chivayo and Taguire should be treated a bit different because remember what we know is everyone is innocent until proven guilty by a competent court of law. No one has been proven guilty here of stealing anything. So it's not correct to assume that Suganandas can be substituted to Wikino and Taguire. In fact, these guys are friends with the vice president himself. We saw on the wedding, Wikino provided cars. He was there in the photos with the vice president. Commander Agriculture, the vice president was the head of the army. It was implemented by the army with Taguire. So we need to understand who is a Chikananda. Because right now, as it stands, it's just a general statement, which makes sense. So we can't put the cart before the horse.
I mean, Comrade Mahoney, good point. I must admit, good point. But are you suggesting to us that when the VP Chiwenga is clearly describing briefcase business people whose only claim to fame is money and have no record of what sort of business they're running, you are saying to the audience here that he's not referring by all means to Kudata Gure and Wikno Chivayo at all? Those are not the people he is describing in his warnings. Is it what you're saying?
I don't know of Wick now because I have not traced his source of business. But for a fact, Taguire is running businesses that we know, that is accounts that transacted, that we know they transacted. Sakunda is a big
No,
company.
no. What business does he do?
Sakunda is a big business.
We don't do that, best. We don't do that. When you come best, then you can be able to challenge. And I'm now going to allow the speaker to
So
continue
sorry,
and
Hulu.
complete his
I've been on my
submission.
best behavior. I haven't interjected, and I've been.
Yeah.
Actually given me warnings, Kuti Musadaro. This guy
Yes.
is doing
Mm.
it. You are making me go back to my
Yes. Best,
interjecting
please don't do that.
days. You are making. If he does it one
No,
more
no, no.
time,
Yeah.
please
No,
do
no, no,
not
no. We
silence
don't
me
want
again.
that. No, yeah. Best, please don't do that. We want to hear the speakers, and so it becomes easy for us to flow with others as well. We need to give an opportunity to others to speak. Justice Mahoney, please go ahead.
Thank you, Olu. Sakunda is a big business doing fuel. You have all spoken of traffic guru. I have spoken a lot of business that Agure did, that he's still doing. So I don't know why to surprise people to say you don't know what he does. I think it's an oxymoron. It's stupid to suggest that he's not doing business actually. But be it as it is, I've mentioned to you that these people they associate with the vice president himself. I don't deny the fact that they are
Hot seat,
brief.
can you still hear Justice Mahoney?
Yes, we can hear him.
Okay. Justice, go ahead.
No, but host, if you can't hear him, then he better drop and come back.
Yeah, I can no longer hear, Justice. I can
Um,
no longer hear.
are
Oh,
you
the,
you
huh?
can't you can't hear me,
Okay,
Hulu.
now I can hear. Now I can hear. That's fine. All right, I can hear now. Go ahead.
Yeah, if he is referring to briefcase business people, I think the clarity can only come from him because briefcase companies are allowed, shelf companies are allowed to operate. So he can clarify. I can speak from a business side. Someone can register a company, shelf it for some time, then come back and operate it. It's not something that is uncommon in business. These all big companies started as briefcase companies, most of them. So I think there's need for more clarity on what he meant. But all of them, they are not above the judiciary, president and the vice president. They can make pronouncements. I want to tell you, as an experienced person who experienced one of his statements. In 2021, he said people who are doing economic sabotage, changing money must be arrested, and the keys to jail must be thrown away. We were arrested at his behest, but the court freed us because there was no grounds to keep us. So they can only recommend and make statements. But when a court pronounces itself, it deals with evidence. So that's why the president encouraged people that have evidence against Wicknell to take it to the police because the president is not an arresting authority. Actually, it's irresponsible for a president to suggest that he can arrest people. That's not what he's there to do. He's there to deliver on the promise that he have made of policy. Those nitty-gritties of arresting people is the police detail with the evidence that they have. So let's not paint others without the evidence of wrongdoing. And let's not what we think cloud life and reality. All these that you praise as business people, they have some issues with other people somewhere. So I think it must be measured. But in terms of Comrade Geza, I don't know where he stands. Today he's saying he praises the vice president. A few days back before he went for his sabbatical, he was crying that VP amusuti nzwawo here vanhu vachema. They might tell something. But when he came earlier, he spoke like he is the authority of the VP. So along the way, he changes. But it's normal because he's just hoping that one day maybe the president will die or he will resign or something. Then he becomes relevant. But as it stands, he has burned his political capital. He's hiding somewhere where he's hiding, which is bad. But nothing can happen. We just wait for fate to take his turn, but nothing will change, Comrade Hulu. And in terms of heroes, declaration of seat in Gata, I don't worry myself because I've never heard or set where heroes are made or are declared. The only hero that we campaigned for is Oliver Mtukudzi when he died. To say, can you please declare this one a national hero because of his escapades in the music industry? Others we don't know. I was not in the war, so I can't decide who is what. We just hear when they pronounce in the Politburo that this one is a hero. Then we just go to the hero's acre because it has been said. We don't sit where they are decided. So that's it to me. Thank you very much, Comrade Ulu.
Thank you very much for that submission. Tatenda? Tatenda?
Utori Mama,
Hello,
hold on.
good
What's it?
evening.
Is that your little child?
Good, good,
Bosolani, please. Let's focus. Let's focus.
good,
Tatenda,
good,
go ahead.
good evening, Ulu. Good evening, Hot Seat and the rest of the Zimbabweans all over the world. Thank you for giving me a chance to speak. For me, today there is nothing much that I could say I would take from Geza's speech. It's a rhetoric of the usual speeches that he has made. Yes, he is the one who made the Shiganandas to be on the limelight. Already they were on the limelight, but he made more expositions that made everyone to pay attention to them and for them to come out in open to be more involved in our politics like what Tagure is doing now. He has been at the background driving his pawns, but now the king or the queen
is now playing a pivotal role. But in his pivotal role, I'm happy with his Bapu or Zungu somewhere somehow. Because also it shows how impatient or greedy he is in terms of wanting power. But going forward with Gata, for me, I have never taken ED serious since he became a president of Zimbabwe in 2017. Why I have never taken ED serious? ED makes jokes. Recently, pane time yakamboita remarks achivunza kuti do we have a train, a functioning train? Oh, all those remarks are some of the remarks that of a person that doesn't take a country serious or his dented mindset sometimes make him forget that our country is in a state of rot. So some of the things that he says, I don't pay attention to his judgments. That's why you hear people say that, especially after he drinks the holy waters that I also enjoy, whiskey, he can forget on some things that he will be saying, or he can just sign everything else. Because like the one speaker who said the point that I wanted to say, Kuti, after Chiwenga spoke on Zviganandas, Wikino Chivayo on Wednesday while he was traveling to Tanzania to push ED's business and their transaction of smuggling Zimbabwean gold, diamonds, and other resources out of the country through Tanzania for formalizing things. Capture on his caption, he wrote Chigananda. Then later on, Mnangagwa spoke about Gananda, then everyone, Ana Nick, who is a clown, Nana Machakaire, Ana Derek Goto, Mukununu Efu, started writing about Pasinesu Gananda, which for me was not coming from an honest position, but rather it was a mockery of Zimbabweans, because ZANU-PF has been doing this for years. They mock Zimbabweans. They use what we say, then they turn it and start to use it as if they are meaning it, but they will be mocking. They mock Zimbabweans. So with Sydney Gata, a man who has looted a partner of Mnangagwa in making small houses, because they are married in the same family there in Chipinge. Then he decides to make him a national hero. It's an embarrassment on people who are being declared national heroes. Some of them, they don't even qualify for provincial hero status, because with how rot Zesa is, what is there to say Gata did for him to deserve to be where Ana Mkomo, Ana Musika, and others who their history is well documented? Vazhinji, I think vari kutotena kuheroes uku kunenge zvituna zviri kutotena in their graves to say, what is this man doing to our beloved country, and discrediting both the living and the dead, because that's what Mnangagwa has been doing. Then with the recent events in the our beloved opposition, the re-emergence of President Advocate Chamisa, it's a situation that many has been waiting for, but it's one situation that many has to start understanding. For us, we have been doing our own work to push, while he was doing his own part. It's a Zimbabwean duty for every Zimbabwean to challenge the situation that we are having as a country. It should not be placed on an individual, because the hero worshipping or saying Chamisa, if Chamisa doesn't do something, Zimbabwe will stop. For us, with the group that we have here in the UK, we are bold to celebrate that we made Auxilia Mnangagwa fail to attend the Flare Summit here as a collective, and we have been speaking openly about how bad things are in Zimbabwe, and up to an extent whereby the government has recently updated their list of people there that they are criticizing to say, or they are targeting to say they are a threat to the country. As much as others in ZANU PF they'll say these people they are not useful. What is way in the same way they say Temba and others are useless. Zimbabweans, every Zimbabwean, whatever you do to put pressure on ZANU PF counts. So in my conclusion or wrapping up for now, I will say one, I will never take these decisions serious because he has made wild decisions when he talk about do we have a football when he was told about our football team, the national football team, the Warriors playing games away, he was shocked. But there is a stadium that is going under renovation. So that person for me, he is in a state whereby he is a risk to the country because a president is the first person that controls one, the security of the country, the finances of the country, every critical decision pertaining the country. So with Mnangagwa and his love for whiskey and other beverages and his dementia, it's a bit sad for Zimbabweans to continue to fold hands. But I applaud VP Chiwenga on his boldness and Manizi. I won't give him too much praise because Manizi sings for his bread. He's like Nick Mangwana. Manizi and Nick, you cannot praise them because they do what they do to survive, to get into the next government or whoever in ZANU-PF holds power. Manizi, Charamba, and Nick, whatever they say, you take it with a pinch. So I land on that note.
Thank you very much. And before we move on to Ramai, to rebut, because sorry, we've seen your hand. I just want to ask you a quick question, Tatenda. So you said, um, basically, you're saying you don't take anyone seriously. Is there anybody in the political sphere right now in Zimbabwe that you would say you take seriously in Zimbabwe right now, who's a political player right now? Just one name.
I didn't say I don't take any political player serious. I said I don't take Munangagwa serious.
All right,
Since
no worries. Who do you take serious?
he emerged in 2017 because of his misjudgments and the
Sorry, I
way he
don't think you heard
clowned.
her question. She said, who would you take serious?
Currently, I will support everyone in the opposition who is pushing for an agenda for a better Zimbabwe. And I will love and support every battle that is happening in ZANU PF as much as I'm not a ZANU PF member.
All right, thank you for that. Ramai, you may go ahead.
Okay, sorry, I'm chewing. Con-
Urukudya chi iwe mune.
Akadzipwa
Sorry,
ngambomedza.
I don't like being rude and chew on people. Right, I heard somebody. I think it was about Juju who said that. Uh, what's his name? Sydney is going to be buried at the National Heroes Acre. I think you need to go back and understand what is the point of the National Heroes Acre. To be um, declared a national hero does not automatically make you be buried in the National Heroes Acre. Okay. You can be a national hero in the sense of what you've done to the public, like Tuku would not be able to be buried. A lot. Okay, as long as you know not everyone qualifies to be buried in the National Heroes
No,
Okay.
no,
Okay.
no, no, Ramai, that's wrong. That's wrong.
Okay.
That
Mm.
You need to
is
actually
wrong.
tell
No,
me.
Can we
best, and Baba
rebut?
Juju.
Can we rebut that
Yes,
point, please?
you
Okay,
can
Tatenda,
rebut as
wait,
much.
Tatenda, wait.
y-
We will give people the opportunity
Okay,
to
they need to
rebut, no
give
problem. Please allow
examples.
her to just complete her submission
Okay,
on
they
that
need
Flora Romai. Please go ahead.
then if you know the history of the National Heroes Acre and what it stands for and all the provisional ones, what they stand for, then you would understand that there is no person who did not battle in terms of war that is buried there. If you have one,
You
I
are
know.
lying. You are lying.
Oh, well, I'm not asking you. You can give your opinion after. There's no need to cut off
Please,
people,
please, please.
right?
We did ask people not to do that, guys. Or you want me now to
No, no,
start
but then
dropping people?
Hulu, listen,
Yeah,
Then
you
you
but
as
can
we
the
we
host
will
Yo,
of
be
the
able to
Solani, can you
space,
restart.
stop
We'll
interrupting,
as
be
the
please?
able to
host
Can you
of the
stop
restart the
space,
show,
you
interrupting?
can't
right?
allow people to
Stop
say
interrupting,
falsehoods and then
man.
say we'll rebut
Yeah,
them when they
but we are
finish.
but we are here.
anyway.
We are here
No,
to
no,
listen,
but
and
don't you,
then we will
Hulu?
be
Your father, my father, fought there. You understand what the Hero Acres
Oh
is
my
It
about?
doesn't
God.
matter. Stop
Provincial platforms,
Can
you
interrupting.
you
It
know
doesn't
just
what it's
matter
shut
who's
up?
about.
your
Shut
dad.
up for a
Full.
So
Shut
minute.
up,
all
you
man.
right.
should be the
Okay, all
one
Hey,
to
right.
stop
stop
and
this.
listen.
Salani, you're not
No
the
one
only
You
cares
All
should
one
about
be
right.
your
the
dad,
highway
man.
Okay,
gachikafu chako
Salani,
please.
akanyarara
shut up,
maniwe.
man.
Shut up,
No,
man. No one
no,
wants to
You're
speak. No
no,
one
no,
professional.
no.
interrupted
Be
you. What did you
professional
say?
for a change.
Mute
It's not
them,
our fault
please.
that it's got nothing to do with
Ah,
my
get
Moderate.
life.
away.
Right, Boss Alani, we don't want things to be
No, but it's
deteriorating,
your
of
job
course.
though. Don't act like
No, 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 no. Yeah, it's my job, yes. And my job also is to listen and to respond after the people have finished their submissions. I do not want to be interjecting them all the time. I'm listening and I'm going to be asking her as soon as she finishes. So let not the speakers want to take over my job then, if it is mine. Let not the other speakers want to take over that job, right? So please let us respect the speakers and no insults. Let us. You see, she's gonna lose her temper and she's gonna start insulting people because correctly you are interjecting her in her submission, which is wrong because we have the opportunity to respond to her. So please, Flora Romai, don't insult. Because at this particular moment you are the only one that is going to be talking and you finish your submission. Anybody that is going to be interjecting, guys, unfortunately I'm just dropping you to the listeners without asking again because you are all over 18. So how many times can I tell you not to interject? So anybody that is going to be interjecting and is over 18 years is being dropped, right? So Flora Ramai, you continue, and people who want to rebut her after she finishes, we give you the opportunity, no problem. Flora Ramai. And bye bye.